a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival in modern China, is an important Chinese festival celebrated at the turn of the traditional lunisolar Chinese calendar. It is one of several Lunar New Years in Asia. Celebrations traditionally run from the evening preceding the first day to the Lantern Festival on the 15th day of the first calendar month. The first day of the new year falls on the new moon between January 21st and February 20th in 2018. The first day of the Lunar New Year was on Friday, the 16th of February, initiating the Year of the Dog. It is one of the world's most prominent and celebrated festivals, and involves the largest annual mass human migration in the world. It is a major holiday in Greater China and has had strong influence on the Lunar New Year celebrations of its geographic neighbours, including Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Mauritius, Australia, and the Philippines and Russia, while mainly celebrated in Asia. It has also been seen around the world, due to the influence of Chinese diaspora and China's growing status. The New Year festival is centuries old, and associated with several myths and customs. Traditionally, the festival was a time to honor deities as well as ancestors. Within China, regional customs and traditions concerning the celebration of the Lunar New Year vary widely. Often, the evening preceding Lunar New Year's Day is an occasion for Chinese families to gather for the annual reunion dinner. It is also traditional for every family to thoroughly clean the house, in order to sweep away any ill fortune and to make way for incoming good luck. Windows and doors are decorated with red color paper cuts and couplets with popular themes of good fortune, or happiness, wealth, and longevity. Other activities include lighting firecrackers and giving money in red paper envelopes. In about 1/3 of the mainland population, or 500 million northerners, dumplings feature prominently in the meals celebrating the festival. Dates in Chinese lunisolar calendar. The lunisolar Chinese calendar determines the date of Lunar New Year. The calendar is also used in countries that have been influenced by, or have relations with, China, such as Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, though occasionally the date celebrated may differ by one day, or even one moon cycle due to using a meridian based on a different capital city in a different time zone, or different placements of intercalary months. In the Gregorian calendar, the Lunar New Year begins at the new moon that falls between 21 January and the 20th of February. The median date of Chinese New Year's Day is Lichun on 4 on the 5th of February, the solar term next to Dahan. Chinese calendar defines the lunar month with winter solstice as the 11th month, which means that Chinese New Year usually falls on the second new moon after the winter solstice. The Gregorian calendar dates for Chinese New Year from 1912 to 2101 are below, along with the year's presiding animal zodiac and its stem branch. The traditional Chinese calendar follows a metonic cycle, and returns to the same date in Gregorian calendar roughly. The names of the earthly branches have no English counterparts and are not the Chinese translations of the animals. Alongside the 12-year cycle of the animal zodiac, there is a 10-year cycle of heavenly stems. Each of the 10 heavenly stems is associated with one of the 5 elements of Chinese astrology, namely, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. The elements are rotated every 2 years, while a yin and yang association alternates every year. The elements are thus distinguished: yang wood, yin wood, yang fire, yin fire, etc. These produce a combined cycle that repeats every 60 years. For example, the year of the yang fire rat occurred in 1936 and in 1996, 60 years apart. Many people inaccurately calculate their Chinese birth year by converting it from their Gregorian birth year, as the Chinese New Year starts in late January to mid-February. The previous Chinese year dates through the 1st of January until that day in the new Gregorian year, remaining unchanged from the previous Gregorian year. For example, the 1989 year of the snake began on the 6th of February 1989. The year 1989 is generally aligned with the year of the snake. However, the 1988 year of the dragon officially ended on the 5th of February 1989. This means that anyone born from 1 January to the 5th of February 1989 was actually born in the year of the dragon rather than the year of the snake. Many online Chinese sign calculators do not account for the non-alignment of the two calendars, using Gregorian calendar years rather than official Chinese New Year dates. One scheme of continuously numbered Chinese calendar years assigns 4709 to the year beginning 2011. But this is not universally accepted. The calendar is traditionally cyclical, not continuously numbered. Although the Chinese calendar traditionally does not use continuously numbered years, outside China its years are sometimes numbered, from the purported reign of the mythical Yellow Emperor in the 3rd millennium BCE. But at least 3 different years numbered one are now used by various scholars, making the year beginning CE 2015 the Chinese year 4712, 4713, or 4652. Mythology. According to tales and legends, the beginning of the Chinese New Year started with a mythical beast called the Nyan. Nyan would eat villagers, especially children. One year, all the villagers decided to go hide from the beast. An old man appeared before the villagers went into hiding, and said that he's going to stay the night, and decided to get revenge on the Nyan. All the villagers thought he was insane. The old man put red papers up and set off firecrackers. The day after, the villagers came back to their town to see that nothing was destroyed. They assumed that the old man was a deity who came to save them. The villagers then understood that the Nyan was afraid of the color red and loud noises. When the new year was about to come, the villagers would wear red clothes, hang red lanterns, and red spring scrolls on windows and doors. People also used firecrackers to frighten away the Nyan. From then on, Nyan never came to the village again. The Nyan was eventually captured by Hongchen Laozu, an ancient Taoist monk. After that, Nyan retreated to a nearby mountain. The name of the mountain has long been lost over the years. Public holiday. Chinese New Year is observed as a public holiday in a number of countries and territories where there is a sizable Chinese population. Since Chinese New Year falls on different dates on the Gregorian calendar every year on different days of the week, some of these governments opt to shift working days in order to accommodate a longer public holiday. In some countries, a statutory holiday is added on the following workday when the New Year falls on a weekend, as in the case of 2013, where the New Year's Eve falls on Saturday and the New Year's Day on Sunday. Depending on the country, the holiday may be termed differently. Common names are Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, New Year Festival, and Spring Festival. For New Year celebrations that are lunar, but not based on the Chinese New Year, see the article on Lunar New Year. For other countries where Chinese New Year is celebrated, but not an official holiday, see the section below on festivities outside China. Festivities. During the festival, people around China will prepare different gourmet for families and guests. Influenced by the flourished cultures, foods from different places look and taste totally different. Among them, the most well-known ones are dumplings from northern China and tang yuan from southern China. Preceding days. On the 8th day of the lunar month prior to Chinese New Year, the Laba holiday, a traditional porridge, Laba porridge, is served in remembrance of an ancient festival called La that occurred shortly after the winter solstice. Pickles such as Laba garlic, which turns green from vinegar, are also made on this day. For those that believe in Buddhism, the Laba holiday is also considered Body Day. Laya is a term often associated with Chinese New Year as it refers to the sacrifices held in honor of the gods in the 12th lunar month. Hence the cured meats of Chinese New Year are known as Lau. The porridge was prepared by the women of the household at first light, with the first bowl offered to the family's ancestors and the household deities. Every member of the family was then served a bowl, with leftovers distributed to relatives and friends. It's still served as a special breakfast on this day in some Chinese homes. The concept of the La month is similar to Advent in Christianity. Many families eat vegetarian on Chinese New Year Eve. The garlic and preserved meat are eaten on Chinese New Year Day. On the days immediately before the New Year celebration, Chinese families give their homes a thorough cleaning. There is a Cantonese saying, "Wash away the dirt on 9-inch nails ya Bart," but the practice is not restricted to 9-inch nails ya Bart. It is believed the cleaning sweeps away the bad luck of the preceding year and makes their homes ready for good luck. Brooms and dustpans are put away on the first day so that the newly arrived good luck cannot be swept away. Some people give their homes, doors, and window frames a new coat of red paint. Decorators and paper hangers do a year-end rush of business prior to Chinese New Year. Homes are often decorated with paper cutouts of Chinese auspicious phrases and couplets. Purchasing new clothing and shoes also symbolize a new start. Any haircuts need to be completed before the new year, as cutting hair on New Year is considered bad luck due to the homonymic nature of the word hair and the word for prosperity. Businesses are expected to pay off all the debts outstanding for the year before the New Year Eve, extending to debts of gratitude. Thus it is a common practice to send gifts and rice to close business associates and extended family members. In many households where Buddhism or Taoism is prevalent, home altars and statues are cleaned thoroughly, and decorations used to adorn altars over the past year are taken down and burned a week before the new year starts, to be replaced with new decorations. Taoists will also send gods back to heaven. An example would be burning a paper effigy of Zhao Jun, the kitchen god, the recorder of family functions. This is done so that the kitchen god can report to the Jade Emperor of the family household's transgressions and good deeds. Families often offer sweet foods in order to bribe the deities into reporting good things about the family. Prior to the reunion dinner, a prayer of thanksgiving is held to mark the safe passage of the previous year. Confucianists take the opportunity to remember their ancestors and those who had lived before them are revered. Some people do not give a Buddhist prayer due to the influence of Christianity, with a Christian prayer offered instead. New Year's Eve. The biggest event of any Chinese New Year's Eve is the annual reunion dinner. Dishes consisting of special meats are served at the tables as a main course for the dinner and offering for the new year. This meal is comparable to Thanksgiving dinner in the US and remotely similar to Christmas dinner in other countries with a high percentage of Christians. In northern China, it is customary to make dumplings after dinner, to eat around midnight. Dumplings symbolize wealth, because their shape resembles a Chinese sicee. In contrast, in the south, it is customary to make a glutinous New Year cake and send pieces of it as gifts to relatives and friends in the coming days. Niangao, pinyin, literally means New Year cake, with a homophonous meaning of increasingly prosperous year in year out. After dinner, some families go to local temples hours before the new year begins to pray for a prosperous new year by lighting the first incense of the year. However, in modern practice, many households hold parties and even hold a countdown to the new year. Traditionally, firecrackers were lit to scare away evil spirits, with the household doors sealed, not to be reopened until the new morning in a ritual called opening the door of fortune. Beginning in 1982, the CCTV New Year's Gala is broadcast in China 4 hours before the start of the new year, and lasts until the succeeding early morning. A tradition of going to bed late on New Year's Eve, or even keeping awake the whole night and morning, known as shao sui, is still practiced as it is thought to add on to one's parents' longevity. Brought to you by WikiVidi documentaries. Would you like to know more?